It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brood Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It's Friday.
Whoop, whoop,
Yay!
whoop.
We need some confetti going off.
Oh, you need a confetti gun?
You got one? Yeah. Boom.
I remember that. We went through round after round. We were pulling that stuff out for a
2
year.
months after.
It was a year. We were still finding parts of that confetti.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, January 18th, 2019, 7 a.m. Welcome to Down on the Corner program. Dale Hoffman, your host, along with Scooter Callis. And how's it going?
Doing good.
Yep.
Doing good.
Heck,
It's another fine, fulfilled morning.
Yep.
So I'm good.
Doing good, yeah.
Temperature's good.
It is, yeah.
Going
not
to get
bad.
colder.
Wore my lightweight jacket this morning. Didn't need much. Yeah. Not bad at all. Yeah.
Not bad.
So anyway, good morning, everybody. I'm glad you joined us on the program today. And later on, we'll have Elesha, Granniss, and Dan Hall coming in and be talking some veterans situations here. Always good to talk about the veterans. And so anyway, we're enjoying Brood Awakening Coffee. You can do the same thing, Brood Awakening Coffee. Of course, you heard in the introduction. 3 locations to serve you. We've got Balmer Boulevard, which will be very busy for the next hour. Baxter Regional Medical Center's lobby, and of course 62 East Plaza out by Anytime Fitness. And so drive through or walk in the hospital and enjoy some Brood Awakening coffee. And they've got cinnamon rolls about this big and all
those are
kinds of good things.
Elesha Granniss has entered the
she
building.
has entered the building.
We got to watch ourselves now.
She's got that pea shoot over her. She'll be pinging spit wads off of your glasses here in a minute. Behave yourself, Elesha. Anyway, check out Brood Awakening Coffee. 3 locations to serve you here in Mountain. I'm itching today. Dadgummit. You ever just
Try a shower. It seems to
yeah,
help.
that,
It really does.
a nice hot shower again.
With some soap.
Like I was in there an hour ago. You know. Yeah. Anyway, Brood Awakening Coffee with 3 locations in Mountain Home. The best coffee in town. Don't take my word for it. Come down here. I got almost a full pot of coffee left. Come on down, have some coffee with us. Or check out Brood Awakening Coffee. Best coffee in town. If you're not drinking Brood Awakening, you're just drinking muddy water. And, of course, the morning prayer brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes right here in Mountain Home and across the state. Roller Funeral Homes with all our respect. And now's the time to do your pre-planning. You can talk to Bruce or Charlotte out there right here in Mountain Home on Highway 5 North. With all our respect, they are the top in professionalism, dignity, respect, and caring. They bend over backwards to make it the way you need it to be for your loved one, whether it's an emergency or just an anticipated end-of-life event, you know. And so, Roller Funeral Homes, with all our respect, I can't say enough good things about Roller Funeral Homes, just top-notch. Anyway, across the state of Arkansas, Roller Funeral Homes, when the need arises. And now let's pause for our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, today I need to pray for our veterans. Lord, this is my opinion. If a man or woman, whether drafted into service or volunteered, once they put on the uniform of service for this United States, they should have some basic needs such as reasonable health care provided at no cost once they are honorably or medically discharged. Lord, I pray that our veterans will someday be able to see any doctor they choose in any state and not to pay anything out of pocket. No matter if they've served stateside or foreign land, peacetime or war, Lord, they've earned a benefit like this, Lord. I pray you bless our veterans across our land, Lord, and we appreciate their service. And that's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas bring the morning prayer each and every day with all our respect. Roller Funeral Homes.
I don't know what screen you got on your computer, but I'm going to put this up there. That is actually a cool looking bridge.
That,
I just have to see this picture from your
This
computer.
is on Weather Nation, and it says February to April outlook has warmth in the west. So apparently the models are showing a little bit warmer winter.
That's just a cool picture. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
It's pretty neat little bridge, ain't it? Anyway.
And now, dun, dun, dun. How's that?
Well,
pretty flat.
I'd spend the weekend practicing.
Maybe.
How's that?
And now for the weather.
Weather brought to you by Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home. Old Time Restaurant Monday through Friday 7 to 2, Saturday to 11 a.m. And your special today is?
You know what Friday is.
Surprising.
Gotta know what Friday is.
Well, I do, but they don't.
You're racking your brain.
Should be meatloaf.
No, Tuesday. Actually, we do have some meatloaf going on today, but meatloaf for Tuesday. Fridays are steak days.
Steak day, okay.
Steak day. You get a marinated sirloin steak. You can cut with a butter knife.
You mean it's been that fast? I mean, we just barely talked about the sirloin steaks.
No, it's went quick this week.
Whew, man, where'd time go?
You get steak, eggs, hash browns, biscuit, and gravy or toast, all for $8.88. And then for lunch, she's given a couple options. You got the meatloaf,
yep.
and then or ham and beans, and both come with 2 sides of roller cornbread for $6.88. Can't beat it. Old time restaurant on the square.
Breakfast tomorrow morning.
Whoop, whoop.
We'll be done about 7 o'clock. Anyway, morning weather brought to you by Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home. Best lunch, best breakfast in town, but don't take my word for it. Stop down there. The doors are open, 7:05. Looky there.
They're open.
You going to give Amanda a hard time again?
No, I'm not. I'm encouraging everybody else to go in there and give her a hard time. She loves it.
Yeah.
Just tell her, hey, go in there, give them a hard time. Just say, hey, Dale told me. Dale told me to.
My bill will be $40 for breakfast.
Let's see if we can do this. Get this bill up.
We better stop and we're ahead. Morning weather brought to you by Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home. Today in Mountain Home, we start today at 41 degrees. It's not that bad outside. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
41 degrees outside right now in Mountain Home. 40 in Harrison, 42 at Hardy. Mountain View checks in at 36. Yellville at 41. It's 36 in Marshall. Calico Rock along the White River is at 41 degrees. In St. Louis and around the region, 35 degrees at St. Louis. Poplar Bluff, 150 miles south, is at 41 degrees, while it's 39 in Branson. West Plains at 41. Watford City, North Dakota at 3 degrees this morning with snowfall. Whew. That's just, I couldn't handle that one. That is cold.
Almost 0.
Whew, man, that's cold.
They can have it.
40 degrees difference. On the national radio, I'm going to refresh this real quick. So you can see in the Dakotas that snowfall coming up there. We've got Montana, North and South Dakota, a little bit in Idaho, Utah, a little bit in New Mexico coming across Texas. This is going to be developing into the weather pattern that's predicted for Missouri and Arkansas coming up on later today and throughout the weekend. A little bit on the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. Of course, you got up in New England, they've got some snowfall coming that's predicted for the weekend, and they could get some pretty good snowfall up there. I think they can get 5, 6, 7 inches up there in the New England area, but that's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's normal for them.
That's normal up there. I mean, they can get snow in May, and oh yeah, it snowed again, you know. But anyway, on the national scene, you see that all throughout the United States will hit. Hopefully, they've got the Little Rock radar turned on. Hey, first time this week, I think. State of Arkansas, as you can see, not much hitting the ground, if any precip at all. Sometimes around Little Rock and Pine Bluff, we get that ground clutter right there. All the highways right now in Arkansas seem to be clear. 62, 412 east and west along the northern part of the state. Highway 65 from Little Rock to Branson. Highway 67 and 167 takes you from Little Rock to Batesville and Poplar Bluff. Interstates 30, 40, 49, 55, 555 in Arkansas are in good shape right now. And so, not bad at all. But that will change as time goes on because we've got some rain in the forecast. Taking a look around the region, we'll hit the St. Louis stop first here. Around the St. Louis region, I-70, Columbia, St. Louis, and then east of Vandalia and Effingham, Illinois in good shape. Interstate 44 from Rolla to St. Louis coming in there is no problem. Interstate 55, Sikeston, Cape Girardeau on into St. Louis in good shape. Interstate 64 from East St. Louis, Illinois to Mount Vernon. It junctions over in I-57. That'll take you north to Champaign-Urbana or down to Carroll, Illinois, where you see Interstate 24 junction there just south of Carbondale, Illinois. So not much going on right there. Even in, let's see, anything around Chicago. I'm going to hit that Chicago stop real quick, just for the fun of it. Even all the way up into the Chicago area along Lake Michigan, Gary, Indiana, no problems there in any of the interstates feeding into the Windy City right now. Southwest Missouri, Joplin, Rolla, Springfield, I-44 looks good. I-70, Kansas City to Columbia in pretty good shape there as we speak. Not bad at all. 7-day forecast, we'll do a refresh this morning. Let's see, patchy fog.
I think our winter storm kind of went...
I don't know. Yeah, it could be.
I don't think we're going to get anything.
Anyway, for today, patchy fog, then cloudy. We have a high of 49 degrees for today. Then tonight, a 90% chance of showers tonight. That turns into an 80% chance on Saturday, and then it dwindles down to a 40% chance. Rain, snow, then chance of rain and snow all throughout the day, high of 41. And they've taken out the really, really bitter cold temperatures for Saturday night. Saturday night drops to 20 degrees. That's where the chance of snow comes in if the precip lingers on. So could get a dusting. Could
They're
get
not calling for any accumulations, I don't think.
1 to 3, dusting to 1 to 3. It just depends on how it tracks. Saturday night, a low of 20 degrees. That's the cold day. Sunny on Sunday, high of 37. Sunday night, low of 24. Then on Monday, a high of 45 degrees. And then Monday and Tuesday, we keep warming up, a low of 37 degrees on Monday night, then 50% chance of rain on Tuesday with a high of 51. I've heard we had a chance of thunder showers on Tuesday. Let me pull this down and see. 50% chance of rain, cloudy, high near 51. Nope. Tuesday night, well, it could turn to snow again. Anyway, so we've got these temperatures that go up, go down, chance of rain, chance of snow, just depends on how cold it
It's
gets.
that time of year.
Yeah, it's that time of year, Hey, I mean, one more Friday left in January, then we're already in February. 2 weeks from today is February 1st. So we get out of January, then we get into February. February can either be bitter cold or warm. So, anyway. They've updated the drought monitor. Of course, Arkansas was in pretty good shape. No dry spots across the state. We're in pretty good shape for wintertime right now. Sometimes winter can get you pretty dry. Even the state of Missouri, they've updated that, and they are with no drought situations in the state of Missouri right now. This was updated, it says the 15th. No, I'm sorry, January 7th, there's on the top. And so Arkansas, Missouri looking pretty good right there. The MoDOT map for traveling in Missouri from state of Arkansas, you can see everything is in green. That means everything is clear across the state of Missouri. State of Arkansas, the only thing we have right now, they have a culvert failure on Highway 69 out of Batesville. Other than that, the roads are very passable, clear, with no problems. And when you go to iDrive Arkansas, you can check out the border states. If you're traveling to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, or Missouri, you can hit those states and you can check the road conditions there from iDrive Arkansas. And so, morning weather is brought to you by Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home. Best lunch, best breakfast in town. Monday through Friday, 7 to 2, Saturday morning till 11 a.m. Community calendar brought to you by Affordable Housing, 870-741-2883. The Cotter Interact Book Club Drive. I'm going to click this right here so I can see this. The Rotary Interact Club of Cotter High School will be hosting the For the Love of Reading book drive. Will be accepting newer used books in excellent condition for elementary students. Boxes for donations are available at any First Security Bank location in Mountain Home or Gassville, Letty's Restaurant in Gassville, or the high school or elementary offices in Cotter. Donations accepted between January 17th and February 8th, and the books will be delivered to students at Amanda Gist Elementary in Cotter sometime around Valentine's Day. That sounds like a fun event.
There you go.
The beginner's wood carving class, well, that was yesterday, so scratch that one. And check one other thing here. The Bull Shoals Pantry is open now Wednesdays and Friday. They're no longer open on Thursdays. I'm going to click this for... So the Bull Shoals Pantry is open today from 8 a.m. They'll be open about 47 minutes. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., the Bull Shoals Pantry will be open starting at 8 o'clock. One other, today at 4 p.m., St. Andrew's Catholic Church in Yellville, 1486 Highway 62 in Gassville. St. Andrew's Church in Yellville will hold their semi-annual all-you-can-eat soup and salad supper Friday, January 18th from 4 to 7. Adults are $5, children's $2.50, under 6 are free. Come and enjoy a wide variety of soups along with a salad, drink, and great dessert. It's a semi-annual fundraiser sponsored by the Council of Catholic Women, with proceeds benefiting the community. Oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A nice little church down there, St. Andrew's Catholic Church. Oh, go ahead. You got one more.
Well, I've got a couple. The Mountain Home Flyers youth wrestling team is headed to Willard. And that will be, they're going down to a wrestling tournament down there. That'll be a big tournament. I bet they got 600 kids there.
Wow.
It's usually a
And
pretty
where's
good
it at?
size. Willard, Missouri,
Yeah,
just
you're gonna be
outside
doing
of
some driving,
Springfield.
ain't you?
I'm not. My wife is. I've got to go with the high school team.
Where
We're
you
going to
going,
be a little bit closer this time. The high school wrestling team, Bombers wrestling team, will be traveling to Berryville. They got a big tournament going on down there. Quite a few teams. They got Arkadelphia, Berryville, Bishop Kelly, Branson, Conway, Harbor, Gentry, Glendale, Glenrose, Mountain View, Rogers, Shiloh Christian, and Mountain Home will all be there. So that'll be a pretty good-sized tournament. So if you see any of the wrestlers, wish them good luck for this Saturday.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to get this look. Well, run out of time here at 7:15. We'll do this on Monday, but I've got some stuff for the youth center that I can't get to open up. They're PDF files. Did you get that?
Yeah.
I can't get the PDF files. It's with the youth center. You see that one?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it real quick.
I can't get the files to open. I tried it on computer and on the phone. I can't get them to open up. Just coming up data files and it won't open. Oh well.
I'll find it. We'll mention it at the end here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we need to take a break at 7:16. Dan and Elesha are here talking some veterans programs, so stick around. We're going to be right back.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with a pie lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Our old burger was only 7 ounces, but now it's 8 with brioche bun and pickles. Comes with its own steak knife, it's really that big. Your best competition is always yourself. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. We're focused on one thing, burgers, ribs, fajitas. Just that one thing, burgers, ribs, and fajitas. We're reeling in our menu because it got out of hand. We had a moment of self-actualization. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back.
It's that time of year again. Time to take a hard look at your Medicare health plan. If you're looking for a new plan or looking to renew your existing plan, now's the time to renew all your options. At Bacco Insurance, we'll sit down with you and show you all the new choices and options, including $0 premium plans with low copays and dental, vision, and hearing benefits. Let us help take the confusion out of selecting a plan and find one catered to your needs. Contact Bacco Insurance today, located at 351 East 9th Street, Suite B in Mountain Home.
Do you know where your money goes when you give to charity? At the Salvation Army, 85 cents of every dollar stays to help those in need in our local community. Hi, I'm Captain Spaulding. The money we raise help people in the surrounding 5 counties, including Baxter, Marion, Sharp, Izzard, and Fulton. You can help by donating your unwanted items and by shopping at the Salvation Army store. Those in need get assistance with rent, utilities, sending kids to camp, and many other things. When it comes to this charity, the Salvation Army always helps those in our community.
Whether you're a professional lawnscape contractor or a homeowner in need of quality lawn equipment, Moran's Lawn & Garden has you covered. Moran's is the longest originally owned lawn and garden business in Mountain Home, with a 5,700 square foot warehouse packed full of new current year inventory for all your lawn maintenance needs. Moran stocks a full line of factory parts, and they service everything they sell, offering top names like Grasshopper, Hustler, and Country Clipper. Moran stands behind their quality service with thousands of customers using their products daily. Moran's Lawn & Garden, servicing the entire Twin Lakes area.
When I grow up, I want to save lives, like a superhero, and show up when people needed me.
When I grow up, I want to do animations. I want to create characters that can fly.
No matter what it is you want out of life, there is a path to get there.
When I grow up, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but I know I want to go to college.
Arkansas State University Mountain Home. Take your first step at asumh.edu.
Have you ever noticed?
We are back with Dan Hall and Elesha Granniss, and the third Friday is always about the veterans, so welcome back again and take it away. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. Dan and Elesha both got lots of notes. So
well, you know, we get into this busy season just before Christmas time with Veterans Day and the Christmas party down at Fort Roots, and then the Christmas holidays. And you think it's going to slow down, and now we're getting
full throttle after the first of the year.
We're just now getting ready for the midwinter legislative conferences.
When you go up for that, that's in D.C., right?
Yeah, and that'll be 24th through the 28th. I'll be back in D.C.
Of this month?
No, of February.
Okay.
February.
Yeah. I thought it was February.
So we're getting ready for that, and we've got our critical issues this year that we're going to be pushing. I've got appointments with all 4 of our congressmen and both of our senators. And it's one of those things that we usually on Sundays, we're at the Marriott in, what do they call it? The Crystal Gateway, I think is the name of the hotel there in Arlington. And we'll have meetings there on the weekend, and then Monday and Tuesday we have our conference meetings with all of our congressional delegates. And Tuesday's a really big day. You got to have a good pair of walking shoes, because we could come up, you ride the metro over there, where it comes up, you come up right by the Cannon House office building. Well, my first meeting is on the other end of Capitol Hill with Senator Bozeman at 9 in the morning. At 10:30, I've got to be back over at the Longworth building on the other side of the Capitol for...
Have you considered roller skates?
Well, no, but I did...
They've got these motorized scooters.
I did get a good pair of walking shoes. And I've also learned a little trick. You can go on the internet and a place called Beep Free.
Who?
Beep Free. You can get a belt without a metal buckle that won't beep every time. When you're going through security, every time you end up having to get half undressed.
I thought everybody's off. There's nobody doing security right now. Are they shut down?
Yeah, they'll be doing security.
They'll be doing security.
So what are the meetings? Like when you go to the meeting, what do you...
Well, the way I've been doing it for the last 5 years is we have, DAV has the critical issues, and we'll have some handouts that I actually take rather than sit there and expect the staff to take notes on everything we're talking about. We'll pretty much hand them the talking points that we have and what we need from them. We need you to support this bill, this bill, this bill. These are some of the issues that we're dealing with, and it makes it go really smoothly. And we've kind of developed a reputation, DAV from Arkansas at least. The feedback we got through the Department of Veterans Affairs here was that when DAV, Department of Arkansas, shows up, they don't come here to get their picture taken with the senator. They're here to do business.
Good, yeah.
And that's a pretty good reputation to have.
So what business are you going to be doing?
One of the main things we'll be pushing again is implementation of the Mission Act. And this, of course, goes back, as you know, to the Choice Program, which actually was the Accountability and Veterans Choice Act of 2014. It was supposed to be a temporary program. However, the idea of giving veterans choice of where they get their health care kind of stuck, and it created an expectation. That program was going to end August of 2017, or when $10 billion was spent. We could see that there was problems where we were going to go from there. So in 2016, we submitted right here out of Baxter County, working with BRMC and a couple local doctors. I actually wrote the proposal that asked for a permanent program of VA/private provider partnerships, so that under VA control, a veteran wouldn't have to go to Little Rock, ride that van for a 15-minute appointment. They could do it here. And that was sent to all of our congressional delegation. It was sent up to DAV National, to our legislative team, and to Arkansas Department of Veterans Affairs, and everybody bought the concept. Took 2 years to move on from there to get to where we are now with the Mission Act of 2018, which does exactly what that proposal was. And as you've seen, some local veterans are starting to protest the delay.
Made the news last night.
Well, this has been going on for several weeks, and it isn't something that just started. One of the old gentlemen that actually started the petition for better health care here, and I used some of that petition in the proposal that I wrote, he ended up committing suicide. And then more recently, there was another one that had lots of problems, anxiety issues and what have you, riding that van and claustrophobic and what have you. Didn't get anywhere with being able to have some of that treatment locally, he ended up committing suicide. And at the same time, we've been working on the suicide awareness and prevention issue. So all of this kind of tied together, and I think that's what really started Ronnie Young's group to really make all of this public. But it's been working behind the scenes for 2 years now. So some of the other things we're looking at is the Blue Water Navy. This goes back to the Vietnam days. It took us about 40 years to get to where the government admitted that Agent Orange caused a lot of real problems and illnesses. Well, they finally made a presumption that if you were in country in Vietnam for any amount of time, it was presumed that you were exposed to Agent Orange. And that gave you some presumptions of VA care. Well, when they had the support ships that were right off the coast, what they're calling the Blue Navy, they were not included. So if you were aboard a ship that came into port or went up the Saigon River, then you're presumed exposed. But if you were a couple hundred yards out to sea, you weren't. We had that bill, came out of the House with a unanimous vote, went to the Senate, and when it came up for a voice vote, we thought it was going to go, and there were 2 senators that blocked it and put it back to committee. So we'll be working on that again the beginning of the year.
Why would it go back to committee? What was the reason for going back to? You can get more things messed up in committee.
If you haven't figured it out by now, a lot of Washington, D.C. is dysfunctional.
Really?
And, you know,
Really?
Going back to committee is a way to delay making a decision. But we're going to continue pushing that. I think we thought we had it at the end of the year, this last session. Another issue is similar to that is the burn pits over in Iraq when they were burning all the chemical stuff and hazardous materials.
And trash and everything. You just
Was it all
burned
hazardous
it all.
materials?
Well, there was
all kinds
that's the problem. They didn't know what all was in
Yeah.
there, but they do know that a lot of veterans come back from Iraq and they have ongoing digestion problems and ongoing respiratory problems, and they couldn't identify a specific cause, and they were all exposed to these fires and so on, what they call the burn pits. So they're trying to get kind of like the Agent Orange exposure if they were around those burn pits. And of course we are just now coming out with our alternative budget. DAV, the VFW, and paralyzed veterans usually get together and they do a proposed budget for VA to make sure all of these things are being covered. It's nice to pass the Mission Act, but when it comes to funding it, that's where we have to really push. So those are some of the things that we're pushing for. Another issue that will come up this year is hypertension. In 2016, there was one of those scientific studies that said that there was enough evidence that exposure to Agent Orange, it was suggestive that that had some causation for hypertension. 2018, they came back and said that there was sufficient evidence to establish that exposure to Agent Orange caused hypertension.
And I've seen that within the past month or so, because that article that came out that was talking about that study. So at that time, there were quite a few veterans that went ahead and filed those claims for hypertension, even though it's not a presumptive. And now we're getting the response back to the VA saying, you need to provide us a medical opinion relating to dioxin, how that exposure to dioxin is contributing to the hypertension. And so that's something where the VA still, until that gets passed as a presumptive, they still need that medical opinion in writing linking the chronic condition, which is hypertension, linking it to their military service. So if the doctor can cite that study saying this is the study, it's more likely than not. So
the Agent Orange had dioxin in it?
Yes, that's yes. So that's the whole. That's the.
We know they closed down an entire city in St. Louis because of dioxin.
And so that's
Times Beach.
And that's the chemical, because specifically that's what it says. And that's what the letters are coming back now saying within the past month. It's saying, how did exposure to dioxin.
Well, do you remember even diapers for children? They had dioxin in the early 70s. The early stages.
I don't remember that.
The early stages of. You don't remember?
I wasn't born till the late 70s.
Oh, you remember that, Dan?
I was out of diapers.
Well, the disposable diapers, some of them had the process had a little dioxin in it.
So anyway, that's kind of how they're addressing it until what Dan is doing, and until what the DAV and the VFW and.
But if they've got the records from Times Beach, Missouri, on the problems there, and shut down an entire town, and you've got proof that a veteran.
It has to be approved through Congress.
They have to add that to
the
list of presumptive illnesses, which gets rid of all this nonsense of having to argue and have several doctors'
the doctor's opinions
that it probably more likely than not is related. Where once it's on the presumption list, it's kind of an automatically covered. So
let's take a break. 7:31. We will be right back.
So they are.
Every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
Dept Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Dept grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
When you need. $7:34. Dan and Elesha here talking some veterans affairs, and so where are we at now? Elesha,
She's
Dan?
got something with the women's veterans group that.
Yes, so 2019 is we're hosting the Arkansas Department of Veteran Affairs in partnership with the VA is hosting the 2019 Arkansas Military Veteran Female Summit, the Women Veteran Summit, and that's going to be March 8th and 9th in Little Rock. And so registration is going on now. If you go to Eventbrite, the
Throw that up there,
website.
Scooter. There we go.
So Eventbrite, go there, and then in the search category, just type women veteran. And so, and then of course, if it doesn't pop up for you there, like you can see at the bottom, then go over to
women's veterans. I'm gonna put in veterans.
Veterans, and then it should.
There it is.
You should see it says, and if not, you could also put the location Little Rock, and it'll pull that up. So our theme this year is She Served, She Rocks.
Oh, cool.
And actually, the design for that is a local artist here in Mountain Home who designed it. This is the registration part of it. It's free for all.
Can you register with the green right here?
Yes.
You hit the green
You
bar
just
and register. I'm going to go ahead and hit that so people can recognize that.
Definitely.
Are you going to register?
You can, register. I'm an admin on it, so I can delete it later on. But, so they just go in and.
You put down the quantity, you know.
Yep, so you're getting one, and then check out, and then it's going to ask some information as far as, your name, your service, what t-shirt size, things like that. So it's free to attend. The 8th it's in the evening. We're going to have a reception. We're going to do an icebreaker, just so that we can, kind of get to know each other. And then the event actually begins on the 9th. And it's going to be an all-day event. We're going to have different speakers come in. We're going to have VA healthcare specifically for women veterans that are going to be addressing those concerns and questions. We're going to have DeVry University. They're going to be talking about time management. They're going to be talking about getting back into the how to transfer from the military workforce over into the civilian workforce. So that we're going to have lots of different lectures that they can choose to go to. We're going to have Dress for Success, hair and makeup and clothes, different things like that. Because I always joke around with my male counterparts that they made me dress like a boy for 20 years. I got out of the military. I didn't know, I'm wearing boots and combat boots and, BDUs. I didn't know how to dress, It was the funniest thing is when I started working at Pinnacle Point and I was in marketing. And in the military, especially for your uniform, when you wear a skirt, you have to wear pantyhose. Well, that's not the case anymore. They're like, why are you wearing pantyhose and it's 100 degrees outside? I'm like, because you're supposed to. And they're like, no, you don't wear. Anyway, it's just the funniest thing. I'm like, really? You don't wear pantyhose with your skirt? But anyway, it's and we're always pulling our hair up. So it's how do you're not supposed to wear outlandish makeup and things like that. So anyway, it's something that a lot of women who grew up in the military don't. So it's just something neat, more specific to women. So and here's the cap. The cap is 125 is how many that we can host. We've released registration 2 weeks ago and we're already at 70% capacity.
Wow.
So please, if you're planning on going, please go ahead and register just so that
You might have to change the venue.
Yeah, I know. That would be great.
We did that a couple of years ago. We did the Veterans Appreciation thing. It was scheduled at one place, and they expected a few hundred and ended up with a few thousand. We had to move it over to the university.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, if that would be awesome because in the past, the average number of women veterans who've attended is 50, and the reason being it was at a venue where it was just like a college campus or something that didn't offer the hotel stay and things like that. So of course they still have to pay for their hotel stay. It is at a military rate, so it's $89 to spend the night there if they choose to. But we're trying to have it in a location that's easier accessible for people who are coming to Little Rock from all over. And so we tripled it. This year I'm the POC for it, so I came in with we're not going to double it, we're going to triple it. So anyway, that's fine.
Is it all a fraternity or is it advocacy for the women?
It's advocacy. Well, it's information and it's camaraderie because.
Well, the reason I ask is because the women's health care through the VA system has been a big push of the DAV now for the last 5 years. And going back in history, if you think about the VA, it was originally intended to serve men coming back from war.
Right.
Well, in more recent years, 25% of our service is women. And so they have, the system was never really set up to take care of the specific needs of women for, the full continuum of medical care. And so that's been part of our push, was to push for and continue the women's health care through VA. So there's a lot of things that they need that VA hadn't provided. I mean, when they first started, who would have thought they would be doing mammograms and pap smears for, in the VA? Well,
and
guess what? That's part of health care. And so that advocacy will certainly help with what we're doing back in D.C.
And it's the information, because I had a female veteran yesterday ask me, she said, I had my tubes tied and I want to get them reversed. Does the VA do that? And I said, yes, they do, but it's something, because it's so male focused that even a common thing that you would never even think, okay, of course that medical care is going to be provided by my provider. But a female veteran has to think, are they going to provide that to me or not? Because I'm a woman. And that's, the VA provides that care. It's getting the information out to those eligible veterans. And so that's something that we definitely want to let them know. There's so many questions. It's funny too, because, when I go to an appointment, I'm normally the only woman in a waiting area of 50 guys in there, and a lot of times they think, okay, she must be with her husband. And then when I get up and when they call me, I get these looks like, what? And it's, but you would never, if you're going down to Dr. Payton's office or Dr. Lincoln's office and they call a female back, because women need health care too, right?
And along with that, besides the women's veterans, you have the surviving spouse. We've got this grant that we're working on. I expect an answer back very shortly. A local veterans suicide prevention outreach that we've been working on for a couple of years. We're finally getting it funded. And part of that comes about because when a veteran commits suicide, that's not the end of it for us, because DAV is now working with the spouse and the family for survivor benefits that they can apply for if it was related to post-traumatic stress or TBI or whatever. And so there's all these things kind of tie together, and I'm really glad that the women are going to be advocates for that.
And on the other hand, too, because that's something we need to focus on, is when we think of spouses, we think of women, but there's so many spouses out there that are men. And there are, the numbers of female veteran suicide has substantially surpassed female suicide rates in their counterparts in the civilian. So think about all those male surviving spouses who've lost their loved one, and most people are just focusing on a female surviving spouse versus a male. So we actually have to change our mindset on that too, because we need to, for those surviving spouses, it's not just female, there's male as well, and we need to definitely
So is this
embrace
some of
that.
the problems you have in Congress getting some of these things changed, because it's such a, I hate to say, male-dominated situation to where you're having to retrain?
It's not Congress, because it's a lot of the things have been implemented, and of course we need improvements, and that's what's going through Congress, but a lot of it is actually established, but women don't know about it, or their families don't know that this is available to them.
That's part of it. You also have the issue of when you implement something, everything called change.
Yes.
and adults, the older they get, tend to resist change, and VA is no exception to that. They've been doing what they do for all these years, and now we're going to try to do something else. So there's regulations and policies, and you can write a law. Well, then under the law, it takes another 6 months to write the regulations to implement that, and then under the regulations there are policy decisions.
Right.
It'll drive you out of your mind.
But Dan, you talk about change. We're not driving propeller-driven airplanes for combat anymore either. And you look at the change in how in the last 100 years how a war is fought.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much more technology. Well, women are as
think
good
about
with
this,
technology
Dale.
as anybody else. So
For every
look like
healthcare
a big
provider,
chain, huh?
for every healthcare provider, doctor or nurse that you see, there are 15 bureaucrats.
Oh boy!
And that's throughout the medical system. That's one of the reasons why a lot of doctors are having problems staying in business now, unless they have these big corporations, because it's in civilian medicine too, but particularly in VA. So it's not as simple as it sounds. And VA is, I think, the second largest bureaucracy in the world, second only to DOD. And when you try to turn them, it's like trying to turn an aircraft carrier. There's a whole group of other ships that have to turn with that carrier. It's not like turning a jet ski. And anything that they do for change, it takes quite a while to implement it, like say with the law, then the regulations, then the policy. It can make you crazy.
And so what is great, as you know, as far as the summit's going, is showing those numbers. There's 19,000 women veterans in Arkansas. So if we have a place for them to get that information of what they're eligible for, and then also to show that, put a face with those numbers. Because up until just hearing about 19,000, I mean, that's a lot, but when we have a summit and only 50 of them show up, then okay, well, they're not putting the face to the numbers. So that's why we're trying to change the venue, change it up to get not only the information out there, but to get them active in their communities. You know, up in this area, we started that women veterans group.
Right.
We're up to almost 60 ladies in our group.
That's good.
We've added an evening dinner social that we're going to do every quarter. Tomorrow we're going to meet for brunch somewhere, and so we're trying to incorporate that, because if we can get individuals active, then number one, it helps them, but then number two, it helps to help other people and other women or men or whomever, veterans together. I mean, we're a veteran first, and then we're a female veteran, and so that's the thing, not to take away that from the males.
And putting the numbers in perspective is very, very good, because when you talk about those 19,000 women, what does that mean to the healthcare system? What does that mean to the VA? We have that problem with the male veterans, or veterans in general, where people will quote a number, like here in District 3 where there are 26,000 veterans. Well, yeah, but only 3,500 of them actually are in the healthcare system using the local CBOC. So that's the number that the VA is going to use to determine what kind of services are needed in that CBOC. Yeah, 80% of the veterans that live in the area aren't in the healthcare system. They're not eligible for it. So
hold that thought. Break time coming up. Be right back. Durable and comfortable hospital scrub stat. You need the Uniform Shop. The Uniform Shop is the place for top quality uniforms, carrying a great selection of name brands including Carhartt, Cherokee, and Gray's Anatomy, as well as shoes from Clogs, Softwalk, and Landau, stethoscopes from Littman, blood pressure cuffs, scissors, name tag retractable, compression socks, paramedic BDUs, and Rocky boots. The Uniform Shop also offers customizing, embroidery, as well as minor alterations. Let us put you in uniforms. Shop the Uniform Shop.
The Party Spot venue and DJ service. Contact Tammy Reynolds for your next holiday or special event.
Take a step back in time when going to a barbershop meant more than just getting a haircut. Come into Legionnaire's Barbershop today, a unique gentleman barbershop. Get back in style from a former celebrity hairstylist and a licensed barber instructor who are trained in tonsorial arts and lock removal and happy to give you a straight razor shave. Legionnaire's Barbershop is veteran-owned and operated and located at 848 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. For a full, old-fashioned barbershop experience, stop by Legionnaire Barbershop today.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the pie lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
And we're back with Elesha Granniss, District 3 Veteran Service Officer, and Dan Hall, DAV,
Chapter commander.
Chapter commander. Yep. There you go. And so,
I have some other updates. As far as 38 CFRs, the federal regulations that when we're talking about Congress and how they approve things, and then it gets updated through the VA. And there's what's called an 1151 claim, which is like a malpractice claim. So let's say a veteran had surgery at a VA and they were supposed to have their left leg amputated and they took off their right leg. If that happened in civilian, then there's, you file malpractice. Well, with the VA, they have the same thing. It's called an 1151. What they've updated with that is because of the choice program and how veterans are getting care outside of the VA, but the VA is paying for it. Now that malpractice claim opportunity can also be applied to the contracted VA. So what I'm saying is claims for compensation are now extended to non-VA providers. So if something happened through a choice provider that was malpractice, the veteran can file a claim with the VA for compensation based off of the injuries resulted. So that's something that has been an update. That's a really good thing. It wasn't based off of something that had happened. It was actually in a ruling someone had filed, but the judge thought, oh, well, this is, if I grant this, then it's going to benefit veterans in the future. So that's a really good thing, just to know that law has changed. Now, also in Saunders versus Wilkie, that was a case that went up and was granted. It now allows functional loss due to painful motion to be rated at the minimum compensatable rating. So in the past, it's been if you had a bad back and you filed a claim for your back, you had to have your back service connected. You couldn't have the pain service connected. So now they've granted that if there's nothing really wrong with your back, but somehow there's pain associated with it, they can grant just off of pain. So that's something to keep in mind. In the past, they had to have been able to show, I have arthritis, and therefore that causes pain. Now, if the pain can be rated itself. And then also, it was certified. It was Credifer versus Shulkin, and it was the service department finding that a line of duty determination is binding on the VA. And what that means is, if someone had served like when I was in the Air Force, and I got injured on duty, they do what's called a line of duty investigation to determine that there was no misfaults of my own. So very common is motorcycle. So motorcycle riders in the military, they have to wear all the gear. They have to wear the helmet. They have to go to the training. They have to wear the helmet. They have to wear the gloves, the glasses, all of that. And if they get in an accident, and let's say got a TBI from it, and they weren't wearing their helmet, then they're going to say line of duty, no, because they were not following the protocol. And so what they're saying is, based off of that, the VA has to determine to grant them service connection if in a line of duty determination it was marked yes. And I know that's a lot of explanation, but really that's a good thing to help protect that veteran's decision while they're in the military, because sometimes what the military granted as a line of duty yes, the VA would have said that was at the fault of the veteran, but the military didn't see it that way. So the VA has to abide with what the military granted in a line of duty.
There's a lot of complicated stuff in this. Every once in a while I deal with Don Schultz, who's kind of an expert locally on Social Security. Mm-hmm. And one of the issues that I found really troubling, veterans, that they get to be Social Security age, they're getting misinformation from Social Security. When they go to apply for Medicare, they're told, well, you're a veteran, you won't need Part B. Mm. Don't listen to that nonsense, because if you don't sign up for Part B when you're first eligible, it begins to become an accumulative penalty. And 3 years down the road, when you find out that VA is not going to cover what you have, and you don't have Part B, then all that out-of-pocket stuff, the 20% of it at least, you're stuck with. And you can't go back then and get the Part B because the penalties make it, you just can't afford to do it.
Yeah, and there's only a certain time that you can enroll in open season, and then you're penalized because it's 3 years later, and so they've added on top of what you would have paid.
Another issue that I see that's confusing people, veterans get discharged, and they have a 20% or a 30% rated disability, service connected. And then they're kind of convinced that you now have medical care for the rest of your life. That's not true. They only have medical care for those things related to the service-connected injury.
Until they get rated at
above 50%.
Yes.
And I have a nephew that went through that. He was discharged with a 30% disability. Thought he had medical coverage. Next thing, he got in a motorcycle wreck, and guess what? They covered nothing.
Well, he would have a copay. He would have had to pay.
He had nothing.
Huh.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Well,
So there's a lot of complicated stuff to this.
So let me play devil's advocate here. It seems like when we're talking Veterans Administration stuff with Congress mixed in, are we just looking at a very narrow path for veterans benefits? Are we not thinking it through? Like, let's go back to the male-female thing. Okay, we have a veteran. Oh, well, she's a female. Oops. Now what? So in other words, don't we need to widen this spectrum a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we're working on constantly.
Yeah.
And part of this Mission Act is going to help with that too. Things that VA right now is short 45,000 people. You know that they have openings. And there are just so many issues with VA and trying to add services for women that they never envisioned when VA started. Sometimes requires additional buildings and remodeling of current things, hiring new professionals, new specialists, and so on. The Mission Act, I think, is going to help with that because you'll be able to just get an appointment with a specialty that already exists in your community.
And that's what they do as far as for like obstetrics. So if you have a female veteran who's expecting a baby, what the VA does is they say what OB doctor do you want to see in the local community, and they do a referral, and all of that care is done through the local whomever she chooses. And so because the VA isn't equipped with an OB. So anyway, that is something where we're going to see with the Mission Act, we're going to start seeing that in other cases as well, because it's just they're equipped for military, post-military service and combat things. That's what they specialize in. I mean, if you want to have the prosthetics department work with you on an amputated limb, you're going to want to go to the VA because that's what they specialize in. But they don't specialize in having babies, so they understand that.
2 minutes.
Well, along with this, as of 28th of December, the VA has actually contracted a whole new pretty much carrier of what's going to be these community care networks, which is another way of saying VA/private provider networks. And that's Optum Public Sector Solutions Incorporated. Now, back when they started the Choice Act, they had a certain amount of days to implement that, and there were very few options as far as who could administer it. There were two of them. Health Net was one, and TriWest was the other. Well, as of September, Health Net's gone, so TriWest is the only one. And they're going to be trying to cover this thing until the new framework is in place in about 6 months. And that'll all be under the, as of right now, Region 1, 2, and 3. We're in Region 3. And Optum Public Sector Solutions is going to be the new contract provider. So we'll see where we are 6 months from now, which they claim in each one of the regions there'll be at least 2 of the C-Box set up, and then within a year, all of them. So this is taking some time.
Final thoughts, 30 seconds.
Hey, so you have new county service officers in Boone County, Fulton County, and Marion County. Be patient with them as they're learning their jobs. They're excited to be working there. So
Dan?
Well, at least they're not thrown in like they used to be and have to learn it over a period of time. Alesha's doing an outstanding job of getting out and training and keeping the training current with these county veteran service officers. And if you look at the number of veterans being helped now by the county veteran service officers, it's phenomenal compared to where it was.
That wraps it up. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you on Monday.